Blue Valentine, it stars Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams, and they play a couple at the end of their relationship and also at the beginning as well. Everything about their performances is just magnificent. The body language, you can really feel their pain at the end of this relationship. Do not show it to anyone that you're interested in pursuing, because it will end you.
It's a sword and sandals epic from 1999. Stars Russell Crowe as Maximus Decimus Meridius, who is a Roman general who kind of gets double-crossed by Joaquin Phoenix's Emperor Commodus. The battle scenes and the gladiator combat scenes are really, quite graphic, quite gritty, quite bloody, really like it was at the time when you read kind of Roman literature and stuff. This was like the things you'd read about.
Ladies and gentlemen.
There Will Be Blood is directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, and it's set at turn-of-the-century California, and it's about an oil man, Daniel Plainview, played by Daniel Day-Lewis, who starts off with nothing. He builds up an empire, and during the course of this, it's about capitalism, but it's also about the other pillar that America was built on, which is religion, Christianity, and basically the two come together and constantly clash. So it's a big, magnificent opus about everything that makes America.
Out of Sight is the story of a bank robber played by George Clooney.
Ever wear one of these? I don't ski.
And he decides to piggyback his way on someone else's jail attempt. And over the course of this getaway, he finds himself locked in a trunk with a federal agent played by Jennifer Lopez. So you've got these fabulous characters, these amazing dialogue, and two bona fide movie stars striking sparks of each other in this really adult, sophisticated, beautiful movie.
What I particularly like about Memento is the idea of this protagonist who can't make new memories, combined with a sort of murder mystery, and then all that within this kind of backwards flowing narrative. I kind of realised as soon as I finished watching it that I didn't know who directed it, but I thought I've literally got to watch everything they do from now on. And obviously it was Christopher Nolan, who's gone on to just do some incredible stuff.
So Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is Michel Gondry's sort of love letter to lost romance, to relationships that have gone sour. And it's about a pair of lovers who have broken up and both have decided to erase their memories of each other at this lab in New York. And they're both hideous to each other, and they're brave enough to behave hideously on screen. So you can see why they hate each other. But then they're also very tender, so you fall in love with them, but you also hate them, and that's the trick, I think. The performances are what really sells the film to you.
It's essentially an adult fairy tale with a slice of history, directed by Guillermo del Toro. But it's a story of a little girl whose life is essentially hell, who uses her imagination to escape from this awful existence with her mother, who's married a general who is a very abusive man, and she uses her imagination to escape to the labyrinth of the Faun, where she meets some wonderful creatures and has to undertake various tasks.
Well, Rushmore, it's Wes Anderson's best film, I think. Before he became a sort of dream world, it's just a world of dreamers itself. It even begins with a dream sequence where you have Jason Schwartzman as a 15-year-old. He has this dream that he solves this impossible maths equation, and you already know that it's not your typical coming-of-age indie drama, because he's not dreaming of being Arnold Schwarzenegger or Michael Jordan. He wants to be Pythagoras.
Dead Man's Shoes is a revenge thriller starring Paddy Considine as the Revenger and Toby Kebbell as his brother, and it's directed by Shane Meadows, and it's set in sort of a grimy small town England. It's got this really raw intensity to it. It's got this very British kind of sadness. It's set in a very small, grim Midlands town, and what we're used to seeing is kind of glossy American revenge films where it's all guns and everyone's justified in their actions. Here's just this strange little parochial thing. All the bad guys drive around in Citroens, and it's all kind of crap and sad, and you just know it's not going to end well for anyone.
Right, close! Hands in your head! Do it! Do it now!
So The Matrix is about this guy called Neo, played by Keanu Reeves, who is a regular kind of Joe working in an office, and on the side he dabbles as a hacker. For me, The Matrix is kind of like the thinking person's sci-fi action film. Even though it has all the big explosions, it has the big set pieces, it has the guns, it has the cool guys in the sunglasses, It's also got another layer to it that makes it that bit more interesting.
Drive is a action thriller starring Ryan Gosling and Carey Mulligan. It's about a stunt driver who moonlights as a getaway driver. It's all about the body language, the facial expressions, and that alone just tells the story. Ryan Gosling is one of my favourite actors, and he does really well in it.
You remember this? No.
So Good Will Hunting is about a guy called Will Hunting, and it's one of Matt Damon's earliest roles, and probably his breakthrough, I guess. It's just very honestly done, and it's sort of, the script was sort of worked on a lot in rehearsals, and the cast kind of improvised a lot around the sort of lines, and I think that just really shows. You kind of believe every moment, and there's some very big emotional beats, but you buy it all so much, and it really is a bit of a gut punch.
There was an accident. A car accident.
Well, Mulholland Drive came out 2001. The character is played by Naomi Watts. Her name is Betty. She's this wide-eyed starlet. She comes to Hollywood full of dreams. She wants to become a big star, and she meets this amnesiac called Rita, and they form a bond. They both become very close, but then all sorts of strange things start happening. They discover a dead body. We don't know who this dead body is, and then around the halfway mark, it all turns topsy-turvy, and it gets more surreal and wild and strange, and then it all ends in a complete surrealism.
The Lives of Others is a very moving political thriller, but it's also a human drama about a 1980s Stasi agent in East Germany who has to go and surveil a playwright to see if he's an enemy of the state. But as he watches the playwright, he suddenly starts to question his beliefs, and it's a very moving drama about how people can be caught up in what they think they believe, but actually it's not really the right thing to do in the end.
Well, The Dark Knight is the second in Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. Nolan is amazing at creating this tension and this pace where you don't really know what's actually going to happen. And I think Dark Knight Rises suffered a tad by Bane having a plan. And you always knew that he was going to follow the plan, whereas the Joker has no plan. And he's powered by this amazing performance by Heath Ledger, which I think not enough time has even passed for us to appreciate how good that performance is.
Here's my card.
Lord of the Rings is an amazing three-part film directed by Peter Jackson, and it tells the story of a journey and a friendship with lots of fighting and brilliant special effects thrown in for good measure. I adore Viggo Mortensen. He has a big fight and everybody thinks he's dead and he's off screen for a long time, and then he comes back in and he opens the double doors with his head down and puts his head up, and it's just such a fabulous moment.